Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a Pokemon that at long last finally received a fast move upgrade, and that is Ledian. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Kilgara, so many thanks for the battle submission. Ledian previously was stuck with Bug Bite, which is a pretty poor fast move, and now gets access to Counter. The catch, of course, is that Counter did get nerfed when it was given to Ledian, so it'll be interesting to see it in action to see if this does end up feeling like a substantial upgrade or not. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check it out in action. Hopping into the first match here, leading the SHUNDO Ledian into a non-shadow Feraligatr. Feraligatr is going to strike first as they farm up to the Ice Beam. Ledian is going to no-shield. It's the Ice Beam, but Ledian is so bulky, able to withstand that damage. Ledian now going to go for the hard-hitting Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch is going to be shielded. Feraligatr looking for the farm down, and Ledian will not be denied. Able to hang on, make it to the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace barely does not KO, and screenshotting to show that Ledian was able to force a shield and almost all the health away from Feraligatr. Feraligatr goes for a last-second Hydro Cannon. It's getting farmed down. In the back, opponent is going to send in Dunsparce. Dunsparce, honestly a Pokemon that this backline is very well equipped to handle. Dunsparce will fire off the Drill Run as soon as they get it. Feraligatr is going to commit the shield and then can look to throw 4 Shadow Claws and the move. We're actually going to see a switch and a catch there. Very nicely done. Catching and getting the sneak. Drill Run, not going to do a whole lot. Whatever they have in back, my guess is Clodsire did not want to see Gastrodon, so the opponent will resign the match. Hopping into the next match, leading Ledian into the Shadow Jumpluff. Shadow Jumpluff hitting for super effective damage with Aerial Ace, but Aerial Ace is something that Ledian can tank pretty well. Counter, of course, will be resisted in this matchup. Let's see the Aerial Ace damage from the Ledian, and the Aerial Ace does actually add up quite a bit. I think Ledian might be able to win zeros here. I don't think this Aerial Ace will quite KO. Ledian is just able to hang on, make it to the Aerial Ace, and win the zeros versus Jumpluff. Jumpluff elects to shield, but a Jumpluff loose on this backline is going to be a big problem. In comes Feraligatr. Feraligatr commits the shield, and it is just going to be an Aerial Ace bait. Opponent now going to switch out into Dunsparce. Dunsparce going to fire off a Drill Run. Drill Run will not be enough to knock out here, though. It will get the Feraligatr into the red health. Feraligatr now at 100 energy, looking to apply a ton of charge attack pressure to this Dunsparce momentarily. Hydro Cannon after Hydro Cannon is able to connect. Dunsparce is just going to no-shield. Opponent, do they send in the third here? No, they're going to bring in the Jumpluff just to force energy from Feraligatr. The opponent's going to be sad they let the Jumpluff go when they see its Gastrodon in the back. Their final Pokemon is revealed to be Diggersby. This endgame could get a little bit tricky. Oh, the opponent, very unfortunate timing there. Looks like the opponent thought that maybe the Gastrodon got the one-turn switch in. Oh my goodness, going for the Body Slam bait. This feels so risky, but down energy, sometimes you have to take risks to win games, and the risk pays off. Getting the Body Slam shielded, Earth Power will connect, but Diggersby will still hang on. Diggersby does have quite a lot of energy, not yet at the back-to-back, but rapidly approaching that energy. Gastrodon farming up. We see the switch and the game-winning catch. Opponent did not wait the turn, and it cost them dearly, as now Gastrodon is going to make the Body Slam. They're low enough that this low damage charge attack will be enough to KO and secure victory. Hopping into the next match, that's SHUNDO Ledian again on the lead, leading into Typhlosion. That's not what you're hoping to see. A switch out into Feraligatr. Opponent makes a bit of a surprising play here. As the Typhlosion, you can always stay in and just win the 2 shield if the Shadow Feraligatr is down by 1 Shadow Claw. And that's exactly what they were, because switching takes a turn. But instead they bring in Cresselia, and Shadow Feraligatr can just win the 2s here pretty comfortably. Feraligatr lands the first Hydro, is now going to launch more Hydros purely just to get shields back, and then Feraligatr is going to look to fully farm down. Opponent will fire off another Grass Knot, but Feraligatr is going to get the full farm down and exit with so much energy to threaten Typhlosion. In comes Typhlosion. Typhlosion has to throw immediately here. Typhlosion wins charge attack priority, so honestly it might make sense just to go for the extra Shadow Claw, because if they throw, you're not going to get the move anyway. Typhlosion will be able to pick up the knockout, but now you can just bring in the Gastrodon. Poor Typhlosion has to switch out. It's going to be Diggersby in the back. Counter and Dynamic Punch will be hitting for super effective damage here. Diggersby will be able to hit for super effective damage as well with the Fire Punch, and Diggersby has the pacing advantage. Fire Punch after Fire Punch connecting to this XL Ledian, but XL Ledian has a monster stat product. Its typing does leave a lot to be desired. Bug Flying, not a good typing defensively, but the bulk is there. Able to land that Dynamic Punch, getting Diggersby very low, and this is just going to set up some nice farm for the Gastrodon. Opponent switches into Typhlosion, hoping against hope to make a charge move, but Gastrodon will not let that happen. Body Slam KOs, in comes Diggersby, and that's going to be a win. Nightmare lead in the next match. XL Ledian versus Clodsire. Clodsire a complete wall to this energy. In comes Feraligatr. Clodsire staying in. Opponent not having an amazing response to energy from Feraligatr. Feraligatr able to grab an early shield. Opponent only firing off a Stone Edge here or a Sludge Bomb. This is not enough for an Earthquake, and since they didn't build up, then they're in a spot where they're just not going to have that move shielded. Opponent brings in their own Feraligatr. They're going to go for a big farm down after absorbing that Hydro Cannon, but my goodness, that did quite a lot of damage. In comes Ledian. We know Ledian can survive an Ice Beam. Opponent may opt for a double Hydro though, as double Hydro would do more damage overall, but they don't get there. In comes Gastrodon into the Clodsire. Clodsire farming up Gastrodon. Honestly, I don't love this Body Slam. I know it gets a little bit of damage while the switch clocks are misaligned, but to be honest, I would have rather saved that energy. In comes Malamar, going to fire off another Body Slam. Gastrodon, part of why it's powerful is the threat of an Earth Power. Body Slam is a very poor move now, so ideally as the Gastrodon, you don't want to throw Body Slam in a lot of situations because whereas in previous seasons, it was amazing, this season it's actually a pretty poor move overall, especially when it doesn't get same type attack bonus. Farming up a lot of energy with the Gastrodon. There's the switch out into the Ledian as Malamar fires out the charge attack. It's the superpower that does absolutely nothing, and back in comes Clodsire. Clodsire's problem is it can never farm down. Aerial Ace lands. They're forced to fire off energy just to get rid of this Ledian. Stone Edge, double super effective damage, and there's just so much energy available on the Gastrodon. So still able to clutch the win there, but committing to Earth Powers would have made that end game a lot cleaner because Body Slam, as we saw, really does not do a lot of damage from Gastro. Hopping into the next match, Ledian into Ferrothorn. Okay, great lead for Ledian. Even if they can land a Thunder, Thunder's not going to do a whole lot here. Ledian opting for an Aerial Ace. Now this will only hit for neutral, but it does allow Ledian to guarantee some damage before a potential Thunder from the opponent. Opponent throwing on alignment, Ledian will absolutely take that free counter. Thunder is going to connect. There's a safe switch into a Clodsire, and the Clodsire safe switches are just getting absolutely cooked by the Gastrodon. Gastrodon tanking the Earthquake like it's nothing and can look to farm up quite a lot of energy. Nice charge attack timing here from our battler as they will look to land the Earth Power. Opponent shielding up the Clod, which is a bit of a surprise. Gastrodon more than happy to shield back, get a full farm down, leave with a lot of energy. There's a Sludge Bomb bait, but the opponent is not going to get another move. Even if they bring in the Ferrothorn, Ferrothorn is pretty close to Earth Power range. Like, Ferrothorn did take quite a lot of damage. Opponent going to bring in a Azumarill to absorb energy, but 2 Earth Powers are going to do a lot of damage to the Azumarill. Opponent switches out into Ferrothorn. We see the switch out into Ledian. Opponent, oh, this is very close. If they did get the Thunder, c'est la vie, that is fine. They only went for the Power Whip. In comes Azumarill. Oh no, not the Bad Manners Dynamic Punch. No! Going for the Bad Manners Dynamic Punch, saying this game is over. Oh my goodness, Ledian going to be firing off the Aerial Ace at the Azumarill. Azumarill, oh, played to a CMP tie that it does not win. Absolutely devastating for the opponent. In comes Gastrodon. Gastrodon, I was wondering for a second if they were going to go for a Bad Manners Body Slam, but nah, they're just going for the Earth Power this time to secure the win. Moving to the next match, Ledian versus Alolan Ninetales. Wouldn't be surprised to see Powder Snow. Oh, it's actually Charm. Charmer in a Clodsire meta. Definitely an interesting choice. In this case, we can expect that their back 2 Pokemon have to have incredibly strong play into Clodsire because running a team ABA weak to Clodsire is not going to be a good way to get wins this season. Ledian is going to be shielding up the Weather Ball, looking to overfarm quite a bit and fire off the Aerial Ace before the opponent makes the move. Opponent is 1 off the Weather Ball, so could throw 1, a switch, a catch, and a sneak, and there it is! Oh, that is a beautiful play pattern there from Kilgara. The catch and the sneak, very nicely done. There's Toxapex. Toxapex, honestly, not as strong of an answer into Clodsire as I was expecting. Like, if the opponent's team saw a Clodsire lead, they would be in immediate danger, as Toxapex does have typically a losing matchup there because Brine is such a poor move. Hydro Cannon after Hydro Cannon thrown at the Toxapex. This is why Toxapex is so deadly, because it can just shut down Feraligatr energy. In comes the Ledian, opponent throws a move, so they actually end up wasting some of their energy, which is great, and now you just trust in the Gastrodon. Opponent fires off the Brine. Brine, pretty bad move. I mean, Toxapex is a pretty great Pokemon, but Brine is pretty terrible. There's a Swampert in the back. Now, that is definitely an anti-Clodsire Pokemon, but not a Pokemon I was expecting to see. Mudshot nerf does hurt Swampert quite a bit. Swampert is going to be firing off its charge attack, and we are going to see the shield from the Gastrodon. Now, Swampert, I believe, is straight 5 pace into Hydro Cannon, so its pacing is a lot worse this season. The Body Slam and the Mud Slap KO. If that was old Mudshot, Swampert gets there. But since it's the new Mudshot, they do not get there, and that just shows why a lot of these Mudshot Pokemon are a lot less good this season, because the pacing being worse ends up hurting them quite a bit. We move to the next match, Ledian versus Malamar. Now, this is a situation where it would actually be nice to have the old fast move of Bug Bite, because obviously that would be hitting for double super effective damage. Malamar goes for the foul play. That is survived pretty comfortably by the Ledian. Ledian gonna farm up and go for an Aerial Ace bait. Aerial Ace into the Malamar does get shielded. Malamar protecting against a potential Silver Wind, as that is a move that Ledian has access to. Foul play is gonna be shielded up. Ledian making it to the Dynamic Punch. Does the opponent end up using its second shield here? Dynamic Punch is going to connect, and the counter after KOs. Ledian winning switch. In comes Azumarill. Azumarill going to be hit with an Aerial Ace. Honestly, I think I would have preferred to see a pivot out into the Feraligatr, because this just gives the Azumarill so much energy. And as we know, Feraligatr is typically going to beat Azumarill as long as you're not down a ton of energy. In comes the Gastrodon opponent. Oh, that's going to be game over. And that's where potentially saving that Ledian could have been a winning play, but Whimsicott in the back versus 2 water types. Unfortunately, there's just no winning this game. Feraligatr is going to let this through. It's the Seed Bomb. It picks up the KO, and Gastrodon cannot farm down. Opponent is going to throw on good timing, and with that, they're going to be able to make a 3rd Seed Bomb. So they're going to get that right there, and this is double super effective damage. So this will be the end of Gastrodon. That's a 1-hit KO, and that's a good game. We move to the next match, Ledian versus Dewgong. Counter will be hitting for super effective damage here. So as opposed to previous seasons where this would be a decidedly terrible matchup, these counters are adding up even post-nerf. Icy Wind is going to connect, opponent safe switching into a Shadow Scizor. That is definitely a Pokemon. We're going to see a catch of the Night Slash. That's nice, because this way, hopefully, then you can just shield the Trailblaze and farm down. Opponent is going to farm up. They do easily have enough for the Trailblaze here. Do we actually see the shield? Oh no! Lets it go! The Trailblaze KOs did not respect the potential Trailblaze. And now you kind of have to farm down with the Feraligatr. Feraligatr does get the farm down, but poor Gastrodon was absolutely torn to shreds. Opponent still has a pretty healthy... Oh no. The opponent still has a pretty healthy Dewgong, and their final Pokemon is going to be Venusaur, full sending the Ice Beam. That's going to be shielded. We're going to see a switch out into the Ledian and firing off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace into the Venusaur is going to connect. Opponent sends out Dewgong. Dewgong going to be hit with a super effective Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch at the Dewgong is going to connect. Dewgong gets the farm down. In comes Feraligatr, and Feraligatr is almost guaranteed to be Icy Winded here. There is the Icy Wind, lowering the damage output, and this is going to be tough. Can Feraligatr get the double up? Opponent throws a move. I'm surprised they threw the move there, because they're not going to get 2. And throwing the move is going to allow Feraligatr to get the double up. Opponent had to commit to the farm down there, and it actually ends up being a charge attack priority tie. Had they committed to fast moves, they could have won, but they tried to go for the double Frenzy Plant, and that ends up costing them the game, because throwing a Frenzy Plant meant they missed out on a Vine Whip. Hopping into the final match, Ledian versus Feraligatr, a rare Feraligatr not running Ice Beam as they just go for the Hydro. Switch out into Clodsire. Oh no, Ledian's gonna beg so much energy. Try for the Stone Edge catch. The Stone Edge catch is unsuccessful, but in comes Gastrodon. Gastrodon tanking that Earthquake very, very comfortably. The farm for Gastrodon continues. Opponent going for another Earthquake. This does not KO, but afterwards it could potentially allow Claude to flip it, so we are going to see a shield. Gastrodon farming up, looking to pick up a knockout with the Earth Power. This is a guaranteed KO if the opponent is going to let it through. Earth Power is going to land. Down goes Clodsire. In comes Feraligatr. If the opponent's counting, they know that this is not enough for an Earth Power. They end up shielding there, and that is a really unfortunate shield for the opponent. Body Slam, not a particularly powerful move. Hydro Cannon will pick up the knockout. Ledian has so much energy that you can bring back in the Ledian if you want to here. Going to bring in Ledian, go for the Aerial Ace. Opponent makes a switch out and a catch onto Dunsparce. Dunsparce now going to get hit with a Dynamic Punch. And let's see this damage. Dynamic Punch onto the Dunsparce is able to land, dealing some very nice damage. In comes Feraligatr. Feraligatr, no shielding one, as we do have a Clash of Clans notification mid-battle. Oh goodness. Feraligatr firing off this charge attack. Dunsparce very low on health. Where does the Final Protect Shield get used? They use it here. They're switching out into Feraligatr and forcing energy. If the opponent can get the farm down, then they can probably win this game. Feraligatr gets that farm, survives the rollout, and gets to the move, and that's gonna be a win in our final battle. Feraligatr KOs Dunsparce. Clash of Clans can wait, and that is a good game. All in all, as someone whose list of favorite Pokemon definitely includes Ledian, I'm thrilled that it gets a new fast move, but unfortunately this update feels like it's a little too late for Ledian. Ledian really would have loved pre-nerf counter, as that could have allowed it a lot more dynamic play, whereas counter now, post-nerf, is still an improvement for Ledian, because Bug Bite is just not a great move. Unfortunately, due to the nerf, it still ends up feeling a bit underwhelming. So we've seen Ledian get a lot of updates, and I'm excited that they're showing so much love to this Pokemon. But man, it really feels like if this was a couple seasons earlier, this could have made a bigger impact, whereas now, even with the new fast move, it's still kind of relegated to Cup Pokemon status only. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.